This pattern is number 33 within Pritt's book, and it's called the Greentail. This little spider pattern is tied to represent the Grannan caddisfly. It features a woodcock's undercovert feather as the hackle and a body of lead-coloured silk daubed with the fur from the hare's mask. It also features a tail of green silk, and it's one important consideration when dressing this fly is the fact that the green silk is actually quite prominent within this pattern and probably covers roughly about 2/3 of the body length. When he illustrated this pattern within his book, Pritt mysteriously adds a hurl head to the fly, but on close inspection of his actual dressings it shows there is no hurl head on this pattern, and likewise when you look and study other early North Country examples of this fly, you find no hurl head on it. To dress the fly, simply trap down your tying silk immediately behind the eye of the hook and trap in the silk with 4 to 5 nice firm wraps. Now you take your green silk, and because we're not using a bobbin holder to tie this silk down, it's imperative that we lightly wax this silk. Waxing the green silk also makes it easier to tie the fly, as the silk adheres to the hook better. Now once you've trapped down your green silk, simply come with this green silk in tight touching turns down the hook shank to a point somewhere between the point of the hook and the end of the barb. Once you're happy with the length of your body, now bring your green silk in tight touching turns back up the hook shank to where your lead coloured silk is waiting. Now trap down the green silk with 2 or 3 nice firm wraps of the tying silk. And trim off the waist end. Now take a small pinch of hare's mask dubbing and simply dance on the spot where you tied down your green silk. The thorax of this fly should be quite prominent. Once you're happy with the density of your thorax, now is the time to catch in your woodcock undercover. As with all North Country spiders, we expose the tip of the undercover feather and we tie it in by the tip. To do this, simply brush back those hackle fibres to expose the tip, and if you want, you can now take your scissors and just trim that tip down a little bit. Come with your tying silk and firmly trap down that little tip of hackle with 3 or 4 nice firm wraps. Now take your scissors and just trim off any waste ends that you can see. Just tidy up the fly. Take the woodcock hackle in your hackle pliers, and because this is a caddis fly, you really want to give it a good few turns of hackle. I like to at least put 3 or 4 turns of hackle on this fly. It has to be said that North Country patterns and North Country spiders were traditionally more denser hackle than we favour today. Carefully brush any stray hackle fibres out of the way. Then come in with your tying silk and trap down that hackle stalk with 2 nice firm wraps of thread on top of the stalk, and then as a safety policy just put 1 more nice firm wrap directly in front of that hackle stalk. Trim off the waste end. And now, taking your whip finish tool or whip finishing it in your fingers, place a nice tight 2 or 3 turn whip finish directly behind the eye of the hook. Now take your scissors and trim off the waste end of silk. Take your bodkin and just fluff back those woodcock undercover hackle fibres. And there you have the Greentail.